Welcome to another Tuna Gear video. This one is a how-to, and it's a how to shoot the bars and retrieve the bars from the side of the boat. This isn't a how to fish for tuna video in any way, shape or form. Before you go and target tuna, please go and do one of the courses. Kev down at Crusader has got a very good course. We're going to insert a clip up here of how you can contact him. Put a group of you together, go down for half a day, get on his boat. He'll show you everything that you need to know. My kit here, I've got 50 to 80 class Alotechnos rods. I've got 80 class reels. There's 200 pound braid on here with a 250 pound leader. I've got a set of lip grips. I don't like gaffs. I think these are a much better way of managing fish alongside the boat and then releasing them safely afterwards. The fighting harness I use is a Black Magic. You can pick both of these up from Rockmax. It's the best stuff going. Don't skimp out on your kit. The bars that we're going to be shooting today, so we've got my two favourite colours. We've got the albacores. This has got the Tuna Gear directional bird on, and then we've got the super pinks, which have got the Tuna Gear standard bird on. So this is the setup that most of you are going to be using. So one standard, one directional, and then we've got a whole pack of stingers. So we're going to go through the whole process, how we attach them to the main line, how we shoot them out the side of the boat, how we get them fishing out there, and how we retrieve them afterwards. Let's go see. Looks like James Bond. Da -da, da -da -da. Okay, so now we're out. We're going to run through how to shoot these bars. We're going to start off with the standard bar off of this side. So get everything prepped before you're ready to go. Don't worry about you attaching to the main line at this stage. Everything unwrapped. There we go. I like to pull myself off a bit of slack first. So I've got something to play with as it goes over. So like we say, ready to go straight out of the bag. So clip on. Ready to go. So now we're going to pick a stinger. Got me a few of my favourite ones here. Obviously we have an array of colours on the website for you to pick from. I always like to keep the block of foam on the end of the hook when it's in there, so when you're rummaging around in the bag, you're not getting one of these in the end of your hand. So as this comes off, leader wraps off, I always put these back in the bag again. So we go down through the centre line. Here's our quick change swivel. You know what we like to say? Metal to metal. So this is ready to go. So make sure everything is away and you're fully prepped. Yeah, so we're ready to shoot at this stage. So I'll bring it around. I'll make sure my line's in front. The first thing I always like to do is get the stinger out there. We know where we're going then at that stage. I'll then go flanks first. So these two flanks over, and now we can continue over with the centre line. So at this stage, the bar's already half doing its thing. Keeping this one in my hand, next flank, next flank. So we've got no tangles already. So as we place it down in, we can just make sure everything's working as it should. We can watch it out the back of the boat. I like to watch it for a minute. I like to watch the stinger at the back, make sure that's performing as it should. We've got no tangles, the birds are doing their thing. Just gonna come down and release a bit of clutch, and we're gonna work this one out. They're so buoyant, they will just sit on the surface. Just slowly feeding it out, bring that clutch up, and there they go, fishing away quite happily. So at this stage, again, you can just watch what it's doing, happy with everything. That one can just sit there doing its thing, and we can start concentrating on the next rod. So for this one, this is the albacores, this has got the directional. So what this is going to give you the option of, this is the standard bar, it's always going to sit out the back of the boat. You can fish, I like to fish this one nice and short. With the directionals, it's going to give us the option to push it out the side of the wash a little bit. So again, pull ourselves a bit of slack off, re-engage that clutch. So this is our directional. When they turn up, the rudder's always this way round. Remember to set it for the side that you want. So if you wanted to mix it up through the day, one of the good packages to, if you're on this size boat, I always recommend buy a standard bar, buy a directional. You can fish them from either side then, just with a simple flick of the rudder. When they come out the bag as well, although we tighten these up, I always have a set of pliers and just put the extra crank on these. Just make sure they're extra tight. So again, just straight through the top of the bird. On goes that clip. We're going to pick ourselves a stinger again, same as usual. Leader wraps off, piece of foam off, put them back in the bag. You're going to need those. We're going to find our centre line. We're going to find our quick change swivel, stinger, metal on metal. Just make sure everything's straight, ready to go. So here's the bar. Going to get all our twists and tangles out before we even attempt to go near the side. Going to pick my centre line up with my stinger on it. I'm going to make sure those two are over the side first, and then I'm going to drop my stinger, let that go, let my centre line go. I've already got two off, I've got the 3 lines off. Now I'm going to go to my leader, make sure my rudder's set the right way, and we're straight in. So you can hold it here for a minute, work out any tangles that you might have in it. It will always set itself. And we're going to come back, we're just going to let it go. Let it sit there for a minute again. Come down to your clutch. Now I'm happy with everything. I can see my stinger on the surface. I can see all the birds, there's no tangles. And we're going to start giving it some line. See, as you can see with that rudder on, it instantly starts pulling it out the side of the wash. The more line you give it, the further it will track out the side. Going to engage the clutch, and there we are fishing. So for filming purposes, when I've shot those, we've kept them nice and close so you can see what's going on. Normally, this one, the one on the standard bar, I would shoot a little bit further. This one, I would do a little bit further again. So we're going to run a little bit further out, just to show you that if you take the pressure off, engage them, you'll watch them, they bounce out a little bit, and then they just sit on the top of the water as it tracks back. As we engage, they haven't sunk, they've just bounced straight back up again. We're going to give this one quite a bit more. The whole time I'm watching them on the surface, because I've got Sam on the helm, I'm just watching where these are going all the time, and then we just engage, and up they come again. So it's going to be down to you, you know, after you've gone and done Kev's training course, once you're on your own boat, it's going to be completely down to you to find your own distance that you're comfortable fishing with. So what we're going to do now is retrieve the bars. At this stage, we've come off the throttle a little bit. I've got Sam on the helm on autopilot. There's always 2 of us when we're fishing. So he's brought it down to around that, I don't know, 2.5 knots, 3 knots. It's just an easier retrieve to bring those bars back up. I've found from loads of experience, if you come right off the throttle, you just end up with things drifting all over the place and lines tangling. So I get the bar as close as I can. Different boats are going to be able to do it from different ways, but for this boat, I then bring the rod off, and I bring it around the side, and then I reset the rod. So now I've got hold of the bar again, centre line first, flick it in, get the longest trailing line out of the way so you can't get in the prop. And we're in. Stinger off, get it all looped up, and this is where our leader wraps in a nice handy place. We can just wrap it up again. It's all ready to go back in the bag for next time. Don't just put them away. You're just going to end up with a bird's nest all over the place. You're going to be ferreting around for gear when you want to chop stingers or a bit of foam. Ready to go next time. You always want a clean deck, lie the bag out, bird in first, sides, sides, centre line, and we're away. 1 bar done. Here's a good point to put out. You want to always be checking your bars when you're fishing. You see that bit of weed on there? Anything like that, it's just going to throw the bars out. So further through the year, when we've got all those chunks of weed coming down, you want to be checking your bars every 20 minutes. But same process again, rod up. So I've got the bar. I've got my stinger in and out of the way. Everything's in, nothing can get in the prop. And we're attached. Love a bit of weed. Now you can't hook yourself. Bag out. Set your rudder backwards. Same process again. Bird in first. Sides. Sides. Ready to go. When you get back, make sure you wash these off with fresh water. Always clean them off. And like I've said a couple of times before, go and do a training course down at Crusader.